Hello and welcome. On behalf of Inno Sports Consulting, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. As you know, the USOC has invited us to assume control of the United States Soccer Federation. We know that times of change can bring upheaval and instability, but please know we are working our hardest to ensure a smooth transition, and we have great confidence in each of you. We have designed a bold 4-year plan to implement changes to the current structure of the USSF. Our vision is to create a fluid, inclusive, competitive, and sustainable soccer system which will increase participation, better develop elite talent, and support coaches, referees, and players to the fullest extent. In order to better explain the changes we have planned, we'd like to present a brief overview of the current system as it stands today. Men's professional soccer in the U.S. is arranged in what can be described as a pyramid system, consisting of 3 tiers, referred to as divisions by the USSF, not to be confused with NCAA collegiate divisions. At the top of the pyramid is MLS, Major League Soccer. This is the only Division I league and is currently the highest level of competitive soccer in the United States and Canada. MLS is made up of 19 teams, owned and controlled by the league's investors. These teams compete for the MLS Cup Championship. Division II contains the North American Soccer League, or NASL, made up of 8 teams in the US and Canada. There is no direct line of promotion between NASL teams and MLS, although occasionally successful NASL teams can join the MLS in Division I. Division III is made up of the United Soccer League's professional division, or USL Pro, which has 15 teams from the US, Canada, and Caribbean. USL Pro teams focus on player development and building ties between the current divisions in US soccer. These are considered the 3 levels of the main US professional soccer system. However, there are multiple other leagues and organizations whom we must include in our overview. The MLS Reserve League is made up of reserve teams of MLS players. MLS Reserve recently reached an agreement to play multiple games with the USL Pro teams from Division III in order to give developing players a chance to regularly play against MLS-level talent. The USSF also sanctions multiple leagues which are not officially included in the pyramid structure. The United Soccer League's Premier Development League, or USL-PDL, has 56 teams which represent the top amateur soccer league in the U.S. It could be considered Division IV in our pyramid. The player pool in the PDL is drawn primarily from elite NCAA soccer players who do not lose college eligibility for playing in the PDL, but can compete against high-level talent. The National Premier Soccer League, or NPSL, is a similar league, which would also be considered Division IV, and has 57 teams. The USSF also sponsors 2 organizations which would be considered Division V, or the lowest level of adult organized soccer in the U.S. The United States Club Soccer, or USCS, runs 39 leagues and considers its mission the development of club soccer throughout the U.S. The United States Adult Soccer Association, or USASA, is considered a sanctioning body for amateur soccer in the U.S. and consists of 54 state organizations as well as regional and national leagues. The Women's League system is slightly less complicated. The top women's league is currently the NWSL, or National Women's Soccer League, consisting of 8 teams who officially began play in 2013. On the second tier, we have the USLW League, an open league giving college players the opportunity to play alongside established players while maintaining their college eligibility, similar to the USL Premier Development League for the men. Tier 2 also contains the Women's Premier Soccer League, or WPSL, which contains both professional or senior teams and amateur teams. Tier 3 of the women's pyramid contains the women's programs of the USASA, including 55 state associations.
Youth soccer is overseen by 2 major organizations, USYSA and AYSO. The U.S. Youth Soccer Association is the youth affiliate of the USSF, governing 55 state soccer organizations and managing over 3 million players. The AYSO, American Youth Soccer Organization, is a separate nonprofit organization outside of USSF control. It runs local programs, called regions, in all 50 states, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Trinidad and Tobago. AYSO has over 50,000 teams and over 500,000 participants. These are the primary soccer leagues sanctioned by the USSF, excluding AYSO, and do not include the multiple college, scholastic, club, and youth leagues which exist alongside these leagues in the U.S.
As you can see, a complex system like this leads to inefficient recruitment and low retention of athletes, coaches, and staff at all levels of the sport. As such, we have identified solutions to correct the many issues that plague the current system. The following are our matters of top priority within the next 4 years.
First, the USSF will optimize the system and reorganize leagues to create an approved pathway through all levels of soccer, from youth leagues all the way to the elite levels of sport. This will create one simplified path for athletes to go from youth level all the way to professional career. Because there are currently multiple leagues and pathways to elite levels, it is too confusing for many athletes to even enter the system. It is not possible to eliminate all these pathways, primarily because the USSF does not have the financial means to buy out all current leagues. Therefore, we must use our control over the most elite level, Division 1, to create a simplified pathway through sanctioned leagues and teams. If the USSF sanctions only 1 or 2 leagues at each level and the MLS actively recruits players only from these sanctioned leagues, it will soon become clear that lower level leagues players must join in order to advance to an elite level of soccer. Having this designated pathway to the elite level will help to streamline recruiting for both teams and players. Those that play in non-sanctioned leagues will know they cannot move on to MLS, and those that are recruiting for the MLS know to only look at players from sanctioned leagues. This limited field creates a concentrated group of elite athletes playing against each other, which will also aid in the retention of players. When athletes play against the strongest competitions, they develop skills equivalent to the best players. The current system has too many existing leagues to guarantee the best athletes face each other in regular competition. The sanctioned leagues will attract the best players, which would give those truly looking to excel the best opponents and the best coaches. The player talent pool will attract the best coaches, and the sustained level of elite play in these sanctioned leagues will help with coach retention. These coaches will provide guidance and mentoring, which will also help in transitioning players from lower levels to more elite levels. As players develop their skills and learn about their career options, they can decide whether the next level is right for them. Knowing the next step once they've made the decision to move to the next level will help them easily make the transition to furthering their soccer careers. Second, the USSF must generate increased access to the sport. The current dropout rate between high school level play and collegiate level play is the greatest of any transition in soccer. To address this issue, the USSF will create a dual system at the university level, one which maintains the integrity of the NCAA's control of current university sports, and another that provides a league for players who prioritize sport and do not wish to attend a college or university for academic reasons. The current NCAA-run school system has over 40,000 players, but these players must juggle their academics as well as often multiple collegiate sports. Many athletes have expressed that as full-time athletes, they do not feel they should have to go to classes, such as Cordell Jones, a quarterback from Ohio State. Competing as a high-caliber athlete requires rigorous training schedules and large amounts of time. However, due to the very limited sports options for elite athletes to play soccer between the ages of 18 and 22, the NCAA is the only option for many of these athletes to play. Right now, the university level is a large bottleneck for athletes. Players from recreation leagues, clubs, academies, and scholastic teams would need to try out for a college team or get recruited to a college team in order to continue playing. There is currently a growing academy system throughout the youth levels of the sport where promising young athletes can train and develop their skills. The athletes are still able to attend school, but soccer participation at the academies is not tied to academic performance. If we are able to create an academy system at the collegiate level, athletes will be able to attend classes if desired, but not have their play tied to academic success. We would model the system of the Development Academy, a currently partnership between the U.S. soccer and the top youth clubs around the country. Per Tom Ashbrook's WBUR 2012 podcast, this Development Academy is designed to produce the next generation of national team players. Ashbrook adds the U.S. Soccer Federation is moving to raise the bar on American youth soccer, a somewhat controversial move aimed to amp up our men's game. Many experts, including Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist George Durham, concur, adding, the U.S. has really struggled the last few youth tournaments. This led to a reevaluation of our youth system. He continues, if these kids want to play in college or even professionally, the fact that they're better off playing in one of these development leagues. While their team commitment for this type of sport participation is significantly higher than that of the recreational leagues or a scholastic season, it allows for proper development of athletes that will contribute to the future success of America's national teams. Countries such as Brazil and Spain function in their year-round approach. Their success in the soccer world comes from a system America should emulate. In the meantime, adding the 18 to 22-year-old group to the Development Academy can also assist in generating a better national team performance at a younger age level, especially for the men's Olympic team. As shown in the table, the U.S. soccer team didn't miss any of the last 5 World Cups, but didn't qualify for the 2004 and the 2012 Olympic Games. They were able to play in the 1996 Olympics because it was held in Atlanta and the home team automatically qualified. It is notable that while the World Cup doesn't impose age restrictions, the Olympic Games only allows 3 over 23 players per men's team. Meanwhile, college players constitute the major pool that MLS teams draft players from, which means that many players cannot improve in a professional setting until they are 22 to 25 years old. This provides a reasonable explanation for the wide margin between teams' U.S. records in the Olympics and the World Cup. The Development Academy provides superior training and better coaching than most college teams, making early professional development an accessible option for players. It is anticipated that the U.S. men's Olympic soccer team can make significant progress with the Development Academy system in place. Traditionally, playing at an advanced level in soccer has been an opportunity only available to athletes from middle to high-income families. This leaves us out of a significant and often underrepresented demographic. To make soccer available to participants from low socioeconomic backgrounds, Inno Sports Consulting will implement 2 changes. Number 1, use current non-profits like Street Soccer and the Homeless World Cup to engage and deliver high-quality soccer programs. Number 2, use revenue from elite levels, coming from ticket sales, concessions, paraphernalia, and more, to fund quality soccer programs. We are currently exploring the option of jump-starting this revenue with an outside grant. Over the next 4 years, the USFF will begin to see their return on investment as elite players will come through the program who will draw increasing numbers of fans and revenue. Improving the current academy system will also have a positive impact in our recruitment efforts. Player recruitment has been limited for the most part to higher socioeconomic statuses. In the US, soccer has often been a domain of the wealthy. In order to improve the system of recruiting, Inno Sports Consulting recommends a multi-step process. First, a more creative effort must be put into finding players that have the skill or potential to develop skills to perform at an elite level. Currently, the system of tryouts or auditioning for a part on a team only allows coaches to see a small sample of the available talent. If a qualified athlete performs poorly at a tryout, or if the athlete fails to show up for the tryout, there is no way to discover his or her true athletic skills. By giving teams better resources to scout for talent instead of expecting talent to come to the team, the coach, and eventually the entire system will have a more realistic picture of the talent that currently exists. Realizing the purpose of these changes is to field a dominant team for the upcoming Olympics. We have limited our changes to those we believe we can successfully implement within 4 years. Most of our large changes come on our first year, giving us 3 years to work out the unforeseen problems that will inevitably come to light as time passes.
In year one, we will make an effort to establish connections with select nonprofits. This will allow us to use that network in later years to recruit from the untapped low socioeconomic levels of the community. We will establish the Development Academy at the collegiate level to alleviate the bottleneck effect of the university system. We will also require new training for all current staff. When all members of the organization are on the same page, extensive changes are more easily executed. One of the largest changes we will implement will be sanctioning 1 to 2 leagues for each level of play. This will require backing by the USSF, promotion of these selected leagues, and heavy recruiting in future years of the best athletes to these leagues to ensure the best players are playing for the leagues the USSF recruits from for the Olympic team. New scouting systems will need to be put in place to find the best players, and the best coaches, referees, and staff will need to be hired to these elite leagues to attract the best players. To attract these members of our organization, we will increase salaries in all sanctioned leagues. In year 2, we will continue to promote the Development Academy as an alternative to NCAA sports. We must continue to market and promote this new academy heavily in the first few years so that younger players will know it exists. This will help to limit the number of players that drop out of the sport because they were not able to play on a collegiate team. We must also spend this year monitoring staff to make sure the new policies are being upheld. If players are being recruited outside the sanctioned leagues, the system will remain chaotic. It is important in these early years to be strict, especially in the case of recruiting athletes. We will continue to make adjustments based on any problems that may develop. We can also begin utilizing the connections we made with nonprofits in our first year to begin scouting players overlooked by the current system. Finding players from these lower socioeconomic areas will give the sanctioned leagues, especially the development academies, new potential recruits to train. These lower socioeconomic communities may not be as committed to sending their children to college, which will make them good potential recruits for the development academies at the university level. In year 3, we will continue to adjust to unforeseen problems, but more importantly, we'll begin to sort out the Olympic team. With many young athletes now being trained by top coaching staffs, there should be an excellent pool of players to select from. Those not selected to play could be used as training staff. The experienced players who did not make the team, especially those that have played in international competitions before, would be great assets to a talented team of players that may not know other styles of play. This will help to transition players out of the elite levels of the USSF and recruit good coaches as well. This elite team will then go on to compete in regional qualifiers for the Olympics. Development academies and sanctioned leagues should be encouraged to attend so they can see what they are working towards. Building the camaraderie within the sanctioned leagues will create a mindset that players from lower leagues will reach that level someday. It will also solidify these leagues as separate from those leagues not sanctioned by the USSF. In our last year, we will again send our development academies and sanctioned league players to watch the Olympic team in the Olympics. We will also continue to monitor the talent at all levels, recruit the best players to the sanctioned leagues, and encourage proven players to transition to coaching. We will continue to adjust the program and solve problems in the transitioning system, and will develop grassroots promotions to take advantage of the team's Olympic success. By capitalizing on their success now, we can encourage more players to stay in the system, to work towards reaching higher levels of play, and to increase the talent in the recruiting pool for the next Olympics.
We know that this is an expansive vision, but we are confident that these changes to our current soccer system will result in improvement of performance at the elite levels, increased retention throughout the various tiers of the sport, and greater access to soccer for lower socioeconomic groups. We look forward to working with you to attain our common goal. Thank you for your time.